We see the battle of the fire types. Shadow Magmortar running its legacy move of Thunderbolt has that potential to one-shot. One thing you should stop me is I'm not a fan of baiting. Does the opponent respect the damage? Welcome back to the channel. Season 21 so far has been pretty fun and I'm pretty inspired to do what I do best, run some crazy triple shadow teams. And today we are testing out the newly buffed Shadow Magmortar. The past few seasons have been very kind to this very attack-weighted Pokemon. It has received buffs in back-to-back seasons. Season 20 saw its quick move of Karate Chop get a huge buff, now becoming one of the best quick moves in the game. Season 21 is all about them elemental punches, and of course we're running Fire Punch. If you're wondering just how attack-weighted Magmortar is, well let me tell you, it has got a monstrous attack stat. It's got a higher attack than some of the very glassy Pokemon we've come to love in the Great League, things such as Primeape, Magnezone, Shiftry, and even Zapdos. I'm actually fortunate enough to have a very good IV sped for the Great League as well, so it's time to put this glass cannon to work. Of course, Magmortar is going to be terrified of them Mud Slap users, so we're going to put Feraligatr as our safe switch, then moving on to the star of the show, Shadow Annihilape. All I'm going to say is the reason for the counter nerf was Shadow Annihilape. If it still had its pacing of 5 to the Rage Fist, this thing would be busted. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we found ourselves a tough lead. Magmortar not particularly good into Sableye due to the fact they resist our quick move of Karate Chop. However, I'm unable to switch out as Annihilape will get eaten alive. I'm able to force a charge attack priority, forcing a protection. I then send out Gator once again, forcing the charge attack priority before looking to remove Sableye from the field of play. Oh, that's tough. The opponent survives on minimal HP. If I would have known that, I would have actually overfarmed and then threw the charge attack after committing the Protect Shield on the second CMP tie. Unfortunately, I made a slight miscalculation. I now find myself in a tricky spot. Out comes Gastrodon. I land the Hydro Cannon. Try for the Body Slam catch onto Annihilape unsuccessfully. Out comes the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death. We fire off the first Rage Fist. And at this stage, I'm thinking, can I fully counter farm down? It's going to be a tall task, but I think that's my win con. I'm going to invest the Protect Shield, look for the full counter farm down, hoping to leave with a whole heap of energy. Unfortunately, it is a Simul KO. The opponent has the Body Slam banked, and unfortunately, we're going to be off to a 0-1 start. Things are not looking fantastic, but we never give up. We're going to head into the next battle and hope results go somewhat differently. In the next battle, we see the battle of the glass cannons. Morpeko used to having its way in charge attack priorities, but Magmortar actually has an almost identical attack stat, so this would be an IV dependent CMP tie. We shield up the Aura Wheel, the opponent then switches out into Cresselia. I'm more than happy to stay in here, as of course I want an Annihilape aligned against Morpeko. I fire off the Thunderbolt, attempt to force a charge attack priority with the Fire Punch, but the opponent actually take the extra. Fire Punch does massive damage, considering it's a pretty mid move, but you can see Magmortar hits like a truck. The opponent full send a Future Sight, removing me from the field of play. I don't wait out my timer as I'm not switch locked and the opponent is. I send in Gator, get the Shadow Claw farm down, back out comes Morpeko. I'm able to switch out, deleting them in the blink of an eye, and out comes Venusaur. We're going straight for the Rage Fist, looking to Vampire attack. The opponent unlikely to shield the first, knowing subsequent ones after that will do more, as it comes a 100% chance to vamp up my own attack. The opponent continuing to farm up energy, finally going to invest the Protect Shield. And at this point, even the resisted counter damage has put him in a range where Gator can just come in, Shadow Claw farm down, and we are going to get some redemption, getting a victory in battle number 2. The opponent isn't doubled up. Even if they were, that Shadow Claw will be removing them from the field of play, and we emerge victorious. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we hard win lead. The opponent safe switches into Licky, far too thicky, and here comes Annihilape. The opponent farming up a boatload of energy. I'm thinking about calling the bait, but last second, choose to invest a Protect Shield, and I'm glad I did, as the opponent full sends a Solar Beam. This can only be a Body Slam, which is double resisted and going to be an easy tank for Annihilape. Annihilape gets so much farm. I'm near capped on energy, so I'm going to throw a Rage Fist. A boosted Rage Fist still won't remove Superior from the field of play, as they are very bulky. As the opponent invested the Protect Shield, I'm going to look to farm up, fire off the close combat on the CMP side to an Aerial Ace. The opponent tries to catch a Rage Fist. Sorry trainer, we're not baiting. Close combat, cleanly one-shot stun sparse, and the opponent concede the match. In the next battle, we see the battle of the fire types. Magmortar running its legacy move of Thunderbolt has that potential to one-shot, and I'm not a fan of baiting. I'm full sending. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Get that Talonflame off my screen. Out comes Gator. We farm up, make the catch onto our own Gator, and I am having a lot of fun in today's battles, in case you couldn't tell. The opponent opts to stay in. We try and fire off the Hydro Cannon, losing CMP. The IVs on this gate are pretty good. I think it's like a rank 11 for the Great League or something. It's 0, 10, 11 for those of you wondering. However, at this stage, we're just going to send in Annihilape, go for that one shield, full counter farm down, and look to go nuking. We're going to have energy on Annihilape, energy on Magmortar. What could go wrong? Out comes Diggersby. Oh, trainer, you're in so much trouble. I'm actually going to fire off the Rage Fist bait. Regardless if the opponent shields or not, we just want to vamp up our own damage. It's only a fire punch, but I am going to invest the Protect Shield. Looks to get off as much boosted counter damage as I physically can. And why make one catch when you can make two? We make the catch back onto Magmortar. Fire punch actually isn't lethal. We're going to return fire with our own fire punch. This will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. We could just counter farm down, but for no reason whatsoever, I'm just going to throw the close combat and take that game. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, I'm very quickly brought back down to reality. Magmortar completely walled by Gastrodon, as well as taking huge super effective damage. I say switch into Gator. The opponent tried for the Hydro Cannon catch onto Guzzlord, unsuccessfully. I heavily overfarm, fire off the Hydro Cannon, forcing a Protect Shield. I was doubled up. I didn't want an instant throw, because if the opponent took the extra, they could have fully farmed down, and I would have been in a lot of trouble. We sacrificed Gator, Vol, heap of energy, and am now going to send back out Magmortar. The opponent threw an alignment last time, so I'm anticipating the opponent's going to be a creature habit and do it again. So I fire off 6 karate chops and the fire punch. The opponent shielded when they really didn't need to, and at this point it's going to be Annihilape versus the world. Brutal swing, secures the knockout. I send out Annihilape, going to get a massive counter farm down and leave loaded. Out comes Dunsparce. The opponent farms up, banking a charge move, pivot back out into Gastrodon, but trainer, this game is over. The opponent go for the body slam bait, but no bait. We'll be saving this opponent's fate. I farm up to the double CC. The first one removes a snail from the field of play. Back out comes Dunsparce and is very quickly going to meet the same fate. GG's. Shadow Annihilape completing the full sweep. In the next battle, we see Dragonite in the lead. Another thing we can't really switch out upon. As I said in the intro, we've got a monstrous attack stat. I force a charge attack priority. The opponent probably unfamiliar with the moveset, invest to Protect Shield. I'm just going to let Magmortar go down, send out Gator. We are going to be able to outpace by 2 turns to the Hydro Cannon, so I'm going to throw it immediately, looking to move Dragonite from the field of play. Hydro Cannon, to my surprise, goes shielded. The opponent looking for that full Dragon Breath farm down, which they get, which is brutal as I die with the move. And once again, we see Annihilape versus the world. Of course, I need to start shielding. The opponent did give me a free counter, and they're not going to be able to reach the next move. Out comes Cresselia, and things are looking tough. 2 Rage Fist will remove them from the field of play, but the issue is I'm kind of forced to shield this move, despite me knowing it's a Grass Knot. It's a Shadow Cresselia. If I don't shield that, the Psycho Cuts would just get me too low to do anything. Once again, I'm going to farm up, throw the Rage Fist on the charge attack priority, maximising my farm. Rage Fist removes Cresselia from the field of play. Whatever comes out, I need to be mindful Dragonite is available as a sack swap. Out comes Chestnut. The opponent tries for the catch. They don't get it. They actually give me the counter required to reach the close combat, and that is going to be all she wrote to Annihilape, sweeping back-to-back teams. GG's. In the next battle, we see Steelix in the lead. A nice lead for Magmortar, although they are applying more fast move pressure than we are. We farm up, throw the fire punch on the charge attack priority to the Psychic Fangs, and we force ourselves an early shield advantage. If you're going to use one of these really glassy attack-weighted Pokemon, I think you should use it how I do. Always maximise farm and force charge attack priorities whenever you can. I say switch into Gator. The opponent tries for the Hydro Cannon catch onto Superior. I farm to the Ice Beam. I would say bait with a Crunch, but Crunch is the correct move to throw in this matchup. If you're wondering why I'm running Crunch, the answer to that question is I TM'd it for Gym Breakers. I'm not playing TM Roulette. I'm just going to run with whatever move I've got. But if you want to replicate this team, go for Ice Beam. Crunch actually got the defense drop, which is kind of disadvantageous in this scenario. Annihilape gets less farm, but we still leave a lot of energy. Out comes Drifblim. The opponent tries for the Rage Fist catch back onto Steelix. I bank my energy in return, make the catch onto Magmortar, but the opponent goes for an undercharge. And this now puts me in a tricky spot. I don't want to get hit with a Psychic Fangs. Even though I've got a shield, I don't want them to debuff my defense, meaning the Astonishers will do even more. We're able to counter farm down before the opponent reaches that Psychic Fangs. Can we reach the 2 Rage Fists required to win this game? Unfortunately, the answer to that question is no. And we're going to take a heartbreaking loss. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, we see Charjabug in the lead. Unfortunately, my quick move is resisted, but this fire punch will do a lot of damage. We're actually able to force ourselves an early shield advantage. The opponent then aggressively sends out Dunsparce, and I respond with Annihilape. Even a Shadow Annihilape can't fully farm down. So how I like to play this matchup is you tank the first move, you then throw 4 counters, throw the close combat 1 turn before the second drill run's reached, securing the knockout or forcing that shield. I think it's highly unlikely that the opponent would actually shield that move, as we could just then in return shield and fully counter farm down. The opponent sends back out Charjabug. We're able to fire off the Rage Fist. Rage Fist puts them in a range where one move from either Pokemon will remove them from the field of play. I send out Magmortar, look to call the bait. The opponent doesn't bait, and it's now Gator's turn to try and clean up. With 2 shields intact, it's time for your boy Jamie Finn to invest 1. To my surprise, the opponent full send a discharge, then send out Marowak. Fast move timing is paramount here. 4 Shadow Claws and the first Hydro Cannon, forcing the Protect Shield. 1 Shadow Claw and the next Hydro Cannon to remove them from the field of play. And then we can just Shadow Claw down Charjabug and take that game. In the next battle, we see the battle of the Glass Cannons. This is actually an IV dependent CMP. Both these Pokemon have around 142 attack. We actually try our luck, forcing that charge attack priority, and we come out on top. I'm then going to look to call the Psychic Fangs bait. The opponent does bait, which is huge for me. The opponent needs to throw the Psychic Fang instantly. They end up playing to the CMP tie once again. They do not win, and they actually double shield Morpeko. Of course, I don't really know what to say other than Magmortar. Thanks for your contribution. Annihilape and Gator will carry us home from here. I send out Annihilape, get that full counter farm down. Out comes Superior. I am going to invest a Protect Shield. I'm just going to keep farming up, putting them in a range where a close combat will knock them out. The opponent actually pivot out into Digger's B. They recognise the game's over, and they're very quickly going to concede the match. GG's. In the next battle, we see Clodsire in the lead. I'm not actually going to say switch out of this matchup. I'm just going to sack my lead. I'm going to look to bait a Scorching Sands, which is in Magmortar's moveset. Even if the opponent doesn't shield this move, then in a range where 1 Hydro Cannon will remove them from the field of play. Again, we force that charge attack priority. Stone Edge picks up that 1 shot. I send out Gator, and out comes Pidgeot. Let's be real, this looks dreadful. Pidgeot users love to shield. I really need at least 1 of these Hydro Cannons to land. The first one goes shielded. If the opponent actually tanked this, despite the god-awful alignment, we might have a shot here. The next Hydro Cannon does land. This is almost certainly a Feather Dance. But as Clodsire is more or less energy dry, I am going to shield Gator. Aggressively pivot out into Annihilate, counter farm down, knowing that Gator can outpace Clodsire in the endgame if they reveal their third. Back out comes Clodsire. They're not in a range where 1 move will knock them out, so I'm more than happy to shield up this Earthquake and just continue to farm up energy. We're at almost 100 energy. I fire off the first Rage Fist. Rage Fist won't be lethal, but we'll be able to counter farm down afterwards. Out comes Poliwrath. We're going to once again fire off the Rage Fist and continue to look to ramp up. We force the opponent's final protection, and at this point the game should more or less be over. I attempt to throw on the CMP side to the Ice Wind, but the opponent actually doesn't throw. They don't throw anything. We counter farm down. Clodsire has hardly any HP, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see another Clodsire in the lead. So again, I'm going to farm to 7, throw the Fire Punch on the CMP tie to the Stone Edge, hoping to force a shield with the opponent fearful of a Scorching Sands. To be honest, it's unlikely they'll shield, but you never know. Stone Edge removes me from the field of play. I send out Gator. The opponent pivots out into Superior. We get so many frame drops. What on earth is going on? I'll be honest, I've completely lost track of their quick moves. This isn't 2 times speed, but even at normal speed, look at this lag. What the hell is that? The Angry Ape finally able to fire off a Rage Fist. A Rage Fist gets called, but they're certainly in Shadow Claw farm down range. I'm just going to put it all on Gator, as that is a nice opportunity for me to come in and get an energy lead. Gator does get that Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent sends back out Clodsire, so things are looking good. I farm up to the double. So if the opponent shields this, I'll just go back to back. The opponent let it go, and then send out Meganium. What the hell is this team? They are triple weak to ice. A Sandslash, or what's that little dragon called? Artabax just sweeps this team. It makes no sense, but it beats my team. Even if we wasn't getting frame drops, this game would be over. A very frustrating experience just because of the huge amount of frame drops, but GG's regardless. In the next battle, again, we see Morpeko in the lead. This opponent goes straight for the Psychic Fangs, which is an easy no-shield for me. Magmortar, pretty glassy, but we are going to tank a non-stab Psychic Fangs. The opponent then sends out the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death, can we boom him through the Protect Shields? Boo! The opponent respects the Thunderbolt, but that's fine. We can just send out Gator. I'm going to shield once, fearful of a Brave Bird. The opponent go for the fly. We're then going to throw 4 Shadow Claws and the Hydro Cannon. If the opponent shields, we'll just do the same again. As pace into fly is 3-2-2. The opponent actually opt to let it go. Back out comes Morpeko. I'm going to fire off this Hydro Cannon just before the opponent reaches their next charge move. The opponent invests that Protect Shield, they then farm up. They actually force me into a CMP type. They need to Aura Will to knock out. The opponent go for their Psychic Fangs. Gator withstands the damage, reaches the next Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon will be secure on the knockout. And we've got Annihilape, upper Protect Shield versus whatever's in the back. The thing in the back happens to be Chestnut, so this game is just signed, sealed and delivered. We're going to shield once, fire off the close combat, and that'll be all she wrote. The opponent recognises the game's over and concede the match. In the next battle, we see the Bear Trap, Galarian Stunfisk in the lead. The opponent save switches into a Azumarill. I'm just going to YOLO the Thunderbolt, more for my own satisfaction than anything else, just wanting to see how much damage it does. The opponent actually invests that Protect Shield, ruining all my fun, and we then send out Gator. I honestly can't believe the opponent shielded. Like, you've got the bulkiest one in the format, Azumarill, and you're shielding from full health. It just makes no sense in my mind, but whatever. We send out Gator, tank the play rough. Of course, I'd like to flip alignment, put an Annihilape on that Bear Trap. So I'm going to shield up this Ice Beam. We're then going to farm up, throwing 7 Shadow Claws and the Hydro Cannon. So if the opponent shields this, we can just cap tie him on the next one. I can't even believe I said cap tie. Who the hell am I? We'll say CMP tie. Let's keep it real on this channel. The opponent does shield, so we throw back to back. That actually isn't lethal, but that's fine, as we're in a quick move range for either Pokemon not taking the bubble damage. Ice Beam secures the knockout. We send back up Magmortar, getting the Karate Chop farm down. The opponent sends out Altaria, and that is perfect for me. We go straight for the Thunderbolt. Thankfully, the opponent doesn't make the catch. Thunderbolt lands, we then pivot into Annihilape. Of course, I am going to shield up the Sky Attack, as that is the move that I do the most damage. I'm then going to anticipate the opponent trying to catch a Rage Fist. Onto the Bear Trap, there's the attempted catch, unsuccessfully. I heavily overfarm, fire off the close combat before the opponent reaches the Earthquake. Close combat, massive overkill. When Altaria does return, we may as well give him the BM close combat, because why not? GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Another Mud Slapper in the lead, and this one's even the Shadow variant, which of course is worse. We say switch into Gator, the opponent continues to stay in. So I can throw the Hydro Cannon instantly, which is good timing, as of course Switch takes the turn. Gator has obtained me a shield advantage, and I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. Marowak can win the 2-shield scenario. Instead, I'm just going to take my shield advantage and look to get Headland Energy with Annihilape after waiting out my clock. We send out Annihilape. I'm going to shield one Bone Club. I am going to have to tank one if the opponent continues to stay in. The opponent actually give up Switch, sending out Drapion, and they go straight for an Aqua Tail, potentially anticipating me making a catch. Aqua Tail actually does so much, a lot more than I was expecting. We farm up, throw the close combat on the charge attack priority. Close combat secures the knockout, and I'm looking top right. The opponent actually send out Dugong. They're temporarily switch stocks. We're just going to send out Magmortar and try and get as much energy as we physically can. I'm going to mess the Protect Shield, blocking up the Duel. We're going to keep farming up and anticipate the opponent switching out. There's the switch. We've got so much energy. The first Fire Punch, I force the Protect Shield. I throw one further Karate Chop and the Fire Punch. In hindsight, after looking at how much that did, I probably should have went back to back. However, regardless, Magmortar able to withstand the Ice Shards, reach the next Fire Punch, and somehow clutch up that game. GG's. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's Shoutcast. So what can I say about Shadow Magmortar? It's been buffed not once but twice, and it is one of the most fun Pokemon I've ever used in Go Battle League. The thing hits like a truck and generates energy at a rate of knots. If you're lucky enough to have one, give it a try. It will make your battles fly by. Shadow Annihilape as well. My god, what an absolute bloody monster. My IVs are pretty trashy. I'll show you them on the screen. They're not the best, but just build one. Whatever you've got, it is worth it. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.